And I do think that there needs to be way more grace here, because usually what happens is everyone's just like, accept that it's over, like go date someone else. Their brain isn't just going to snap into being interested in other people or seeing a future without that person, because they spent months or years practicing being loyal and loving that person.
Well, hello, Cole. Yay, he's here. Oh my goodness, Cole. I've been so excited to talk to you because what you help people do, I am not kidding you. It is so needed. I have the privilege of talking to lots of people, and I have the privilege of working with lots of people. And one of the things that comes up, and I would say, yeah, kind of often, to be honest with you, is the broken heart. How do we navigate the broken heart? And before I get into all that, and I want to just take a moment. I want to read a bio and introduce you, so our listeners are like, okay, who's Cole? What's going on with the broken heart? So I'm going to do that first. Cole, is that cool?
That's perfect. Thanks.
Okay, let's do that. Let's see how this is going to go here. Hold on. Okay, fantastic. Here we go. Today on the podcast, I'm so excited to welcome Cole Zesiger, a relationship and breakup coach who's helped thousands of people navigate heartbreak, healing, and personal growth after love ends. Cole has built a large community of guiding men and women through breakups, attachment patterns, and emotional recovery with both compassion and clarity, drawing not only from his professional work, but from his own lived experience as well. He's also the author of Exes and Knows, the breakup advice you don't want to hear, a powerful guide navigating heartbreak and rebuilding confidence. Cole, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. You got my last name perfect, by the way.
I did? Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it so much. It was so cute, you guys, because, we get to have a little pre-call right before we press record. And I just wanted to make sure I said Cole's last name correctly. So it was so great. He's awesome, because I repeated it like 3 or 4 times, and he's like, no, you got this. I did it. Yay!
The level of care you put into trying to make guests feel comfortable, and also just saying my name right, like it's top tier. I've been on a lot of podcasts lately, and like it's special. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Cole. Thank you. Cole, I just want to tell you something. I am such a fan of your work.
Thank you.
I think what you're doing is incredible. And not only that, it is so needed and so healing. And before we really dive into that, I know I kind of mentioned that in the beginning, I would like for you yourself to explain what you do and the type of work that you're doing. And I would like to learn a little bit more about you. Can we start there?
Yeah. So I help people get through just the space between heartbreak and their next relationship. So sometimes that ends up being with their ex again if they reconcile. Sometimes that means dating again. Sometimes that means being single for a little bit. But yeah, my main goal is just helping people get their head above water during that time, because I remember how terrible it was. So I got into it because I got married when I was really young. I was 20, and we were married for about 2.5 years. And during the relationship, like we'd fight and things, but I didn't really consider divorce like a possibility. It wasn't really on the horizon or anything. I kind of just thought that you fight and then you get through everything, and then that's just the way it is. Now that I look back, there were a lot of things that were pretty catastrophic, but again, with that belief, like that's just how I thought it was. So she came home one day about 2.5 years into the marriage, wanting a divorce. And it was already like really set in stone. Everything was already happening. I tried to beg for about 3 days. And after that, I moved back with my parents to give her some space. But by the time that I was going to talk to her again, all of my stuff was boxed up. Her mom was staying with her, and it was just all the way over already. Changed her phone number, like locks were changed on the house. It was completely over.
Wow. Wait a minute, Cole. Okay. So before you guys got married, how long were you guys together?
Not long. I matched with her on a dating app March 4th and married her August 4th. So it was extremely fast.
Okay. So it was so you would say like total from the beginning to the end, it was what, approximately 3 years maybe?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. But as you just said, you obviously wanted to marry this person because you were thinking, okay, marriage is for life. I mean, hi,
Yeah.
marriage is for life. We get
Yeah.
married. This is what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly what I thought. And I
So,
thought
okay.
that because that was kind of my family. Like no one's really divorced in my family. Like
Okay.
I have one aunt that was divorced, but like that's it. Like no parents, grandma and grandpa, other uncles and aunts. Like it was kind of not really a thing. So I just didn't think that was what was going to happen to me.
Yeah, it was something like you're not even considering. You're like, we're not going to we're married. We're going to divorce. Okay. Let me ask you this. When she came that day to the house,
Uh-huh.
was there any prior conversation? I know you said there were some things that were going on. You guys were arguing, but did she already give you any indication? I'm going to get a divorce. I want a divorce. I don't. It's over. Or was it a true blind side? Like you're like, what just happened?
So I know that we had a conversation about it about a year prior, like it was mentioned before in like a really big fight. And I also know that like on her side, she felt like we really talked about it.
Okay,
But whether it's me not listening well or just not considering it realistic, to me, it felt like a blind side. Like I felt like
got
it
it.
was coming out of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, because it was maybe a conversation, but then life kind of
Yeah.
went on. Yeah, I got you. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so
yeah,
take
basically,
me back a little bit. Hold on,
yeah.
let's go back a little further. So now you are young. You're 20 years old. Like you said, you're in love with this woman.
Yeah.
She's your wife. You're married. You're like, I'm going to take you back. Looking back before she asked for a divorce, how did you feel about the marriage? How did you feel about your situation with her?
I kind of just felt like it was hard,
Okay.
but I'd always been told that that was what love was. Like
Okay.
everyone always talks about that marriage is hard, love is hard, and I think it's good that people do that because it is. But
Mhm.
but I do feel like being married again, it's been much easier because I
Okay.
think we're just more mature and also a little bit more compatible with our like goals and things. So yeah, we had things that didn't really line up. Like we had a hard time with each other's families. We wanted to live in different places, but I kind of just felt like we'd work everything out, which now looking back, I'm happy with what happened, but at the time
Yeah.
it was like destroyed me. I felt like the biggest failure in the world because I just felt like I was like not worth being around or being with. And yeah, but during the marriage, like I just kind of felt like we were going through hard stuff that we were going to figure out.
Yeah, like people go through. You're like, okay, it's growing pains. We're trying to learn each other. We got to get through this. Okay, but
Yep.
you were all in it. You were still in love. You were like, this is my girl.
Yep.
We're gonna okay. So I can see how you can feel blindsided then. Yep, absolutely. Because I would be like, what just happened? So by the time she got to you, she already did all her work. She already did all her processing in the sense of like, it's done. It wasn't something that she worked through with you. It was kind of like, it's over, done.
I think so. Like
Yeah.
I know that she read a BuzzFeed article about like 12 reasons you shouldn't be with someone. And like I checked out those reasons. And also I know she'd have conversations like with her mom that it was like that she should leave. So yeah, by the time that she told me, we she told me and we kind of fought about it that first night. And then I just kind of cried and begged for like the
Yeah.
next couple days. And then she was going to a hotel. So my dad was like, you need to give her space. You need to like help her have the space to decide. And by then it was totally over. It
It
was
was
about
totally over.
3 days from when she told me until it was like not seeing her again ever.
That was it. Oh my goodness. Oh, like I just feel that right now. I'm like, what just happened? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And this happens. This happens. When she said to you, it's over, and obviously we already know that she already made that decision.
Yeah.
Was she putting it on you or was she putting it on her?
Well, I think it was put on me, but a lot of it was true. Like a lot of it was like I would be really nitpicky and critical. I had pretty bad anxious attachment style during the marriage as well. Like where yeah, we'd argue a lot mainly because of me.
Okay.
So yeah, I do think there were things on her side that she didn't really bring up in it. But yeah, I don't disagree with her. Like we weren't having a good relationship at that point.
Mhm. 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 Did she ever consider you guys going, to talk to someone, work it through, work with someone, find out, get under the hood, find out what's going on? Or we like just really don't know how to communicate, or that really never came up?
It came up like she went to therapy a little bit for her. I went to therapy a little bit for me. We never
Okay.
did couples therapy.
Okay.
We also like we almost were gonna go to like a religious one, but we didn't.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it was it didn't seem like it really came up.
Okay. Okay. So now take me back here. So
Okay.
now you find yourself, again, I can totally see where you were absolutely like devastated and blindsided. And
Yeah.
not only that, because the cutoff was really quick.
Yeah.
Oof. Ooh,
Yeah, and
that's hard. Yeah.
it kind of was good. Like when I see people that I coach now that they've got to
Yeah.
like they're stalking their exes on social media and doing all this stuff. She had by the time that 3 days was over, she had a different phone number and she had no social media ever. She never really had social media. So
Okay.
there was no way I could contact her whatsoever.
No. Wow. So it is like complete cutoff.
Complete gone. Yeah.
Okay.
We
Let's talk.
emailed a little bit about like splitting
What?
stuff off, like lawyer stuff, but it was like one line hyper professional. It was once that was said, it was pretty much nothing.
Okay. Now, I'm just speaking for myself. I haven't gone through that like you have.
Yeah.
And just as you're talking, and I'm just telling you what's coming up for me. As you're talking, I would feel almost like claustrophobic, like I couldn't breathe. Like what just happened?
Yeah.
Explain to me the process and what starts happening to Cole.
At first, I like couldn't come to grips with reality, like probably to like a clinical level. Like I was supposed to be studying for the MCAT. I was about to take it like 3 months later, and all I could do was watch Malcolm in the Middle. I would just lay. I was at my mom's house and I would just watch Malcolm in the Middle probably like 12 hours a day. But it got to the point where I think my brain was having such a hard time with reality that I was like hallucinating that I was in the show one night. It was kind of freaky.
Wow. So your
And
brain was really like,
yeah.
okay.
And sometimes I remember just like walking around, like holding my hair in my head, like feeling like my head was going to explode and like kind of wanting it to, because life just felt completely over.
Yeah.
My whole thing was I was supposed to get married and have kids and then go to medical school. And I just felt like a loser. Like I felt like I got demoted and that no one would love me anymore. And that like all my friends were married and now I just was this outcast person. I thought everyone would view me really bad. What's wrong with this guy that he got divorced at 23? Like he must be some psychopath.
Right. Like, oh God, you must be terrible.
Yeah. It was a really, really dark time.
Okay. So when you went through this really, really dark time, and I'm taking you back, Cole, and I know you help people with this now, and I'm taking you back because I really want the listeners to understand this part. Okay. When you were going through that time and your brain, like you said, was just kind of almost checked out in a sense.
Yeah,
there was something.
totally
Okay.
was.
Looking back now and the work that you do now, what was happening to you? What was going on when we go through a breakup like that?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
So the first part is just, it's a lot of dopamine withdrawal.
Okay.
So
This is famous.
they've done studies and they found that the brain scans of people who are withdrawing from cocaine and
Okay.
heartbreak are almost exactly the same.
Wow. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like the parts that are really lit up, that when people talk about going through withdrawal from like hard drugs where it's extremely
Okay.
painful, that's all they can think of.
Yeah.
The pains that cause people to break into like pharmacies and steal pills and things like that. And
Okay.
hurt people.
Okay.
That's the same stuff that's happening in your brain after heartbreak. And that's why people do crazy things. That's why they get plane tickets and fly to other countries. That's why they'll like stalk people, show up at work with flowers. It's the same stuff going on in your mind. It's a lot of, you get used to having constant dopamine, which is like the chemical that makes you feel motivated and have rewards for things.
Yes.
In a relationship, it's consistent. It goes, and then when that person's gone, it immediately all gets removed. So you're highly motivated, but to get them back, and everything else seems extremely meaningless. So that's one thing.
Oh, wow. So this is the science of it, what's actually happening with your brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
the
Okay.
neurology of it. The
Yeah.
like idea of it, what I think was hard was what it means, and then also like the uncertainty and fear of the future. So for me, what
Okay.
it meant about me was that I was inadequate. I was bad. That was like my meaning that I put on it. That like if I wasn't so terrible, if I wasn't like, yeah, I just came up with every way that I screwed up and it just felt like a
Okay.
really bad person. So that was one. But second is it rips away your future and what you plan for. So you're not only like losing a person that you love, but also your entire plan going forward is often tied around that person. So I went from like I feel good, like I'm 23, I'm financially sufficient, like I'm applying for medical school. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go become an eye surgeon. I've got my wife. I've got my dog. We're going to have kids. Like everything felt laid out. And then all of a sudden, boom, all of a sudden now my entire future like is black. No idea what it's going to be. And that can feel really, really like, it can feel like you're drowning for people because
Yes, that's what it sounds like.
yeah, it can feel like I've got to figure this out right now. And it's a lot easier to just go and try to get that person back, which is why that's usually people's first thought, than to design an entire complicated vision of what your future is going to be.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Wow. So when someone is going through a breakup like that, like an extreme breakup like that,
Yeah.
that just what just happened, or just a heartbreak, right? It's a true heartbreak.
Yeah.
Um, Immediately, like you said, there's something chemically or like you said, happening to
Yeah.
you. So it's kind of like you almost, is it like you're going against the grain? Like even if you don't want to, something chemically is happening. This is where people can't really how do you say think straight? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're like thinking the crazy.
Yeah. You
It's
definitely can't think straight. Yeah.
okay. Okay. When someone is going through a type of breakup like that, this is I'm going to give you a scenario.
Okay.
What I hear often. So I've heard often when I work with certain women that they've gone through a breakup. So let's say a breakup that they truly felt, either they were married or long-term relationship, that they truly felt exactly like you were just saying. This is their person. They're going to be with them for the rest of their life. And that was the one that they loved. Okay. And now that person is gone. And years, by the time I get to talk to some of them, it's been years. And they still truly believe, because that's not the work I do, the breakup work.
Yeah.
But they truly believe that that was the only one for them.
Yeah.
What's happening there? What's going on here?
So I found that there's usually three things that
Okay.
are missing there.
Okay.
And I actually like there's a line that's like healing has no timeline. And I like that halfway because
Halfway. Okay.
yeah, it is true that everyone's going to be a little bit different. Like some people have a way deeper, more intense connection than others. And that can take like some people can get over a breakup in like a month and some people take some years and that's okay. And I think that does reflect like deeper levels of commitment and love and things like that. However, I do think there's a limit to it. I don't think that like it's just a reflection of love if you're hanging on someone 10 years later or
Okay.
8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people comment that, and I've worked with people like that. And usually there's things missing about this. So the first one that is really necessary is there needs to be a cohesive narrative about what happened in the past. It has to make sense to you.
Okay.
So,
Explain that to us. Explain that to us.
Yes, I've got a story for this one that kind of helps.
Okay.
So with medical school, as I was applying to all that stuff, I ended up taking the MCAT and I did really good because I took a lot of practice tests. So I got 97th percentile on the test.
Oh, that's really good. Congratulations.
It was good. And then I got like a 3.9 GPA. I started a nonprofit. I had a really, really good application for medical school when I applied. So I applied like to 25 schools. I was post-divorce and like I thought I was doing really, really well. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like all your scores are good." And then I get 25 rejection letters. Got rejected from every single school that I applied to. So then after that, I was like, okay, like I still want to do this. So I paid about $18,000 applying again and for a new coach, like a coach to help me apply. And she'd been on
Okay.
it was this company that was built up of people from like Harvard and Johns Hopkins admission boards. And they looked at
Gotcha.
my stuff and they were like, yeah, your scores, like you'll get in anywhere in the nation. Like you got average scores for Harvard, Yale, like you'll be good. And I was like, okay, I don't really believe you because I just tried that and got rejected everywhere. They're like, well, maybe your essays weren't good. Like I did write about the divorce in there. Maybe they thought you were unstable or something like that. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, that could
Okay.
happen. So they helped me write new essays. I applied again, like really early in the admission so I could have the best chance. And I got rejected 25 times again. So 50 out of 50 didn't make it.
50 out of 50. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what?
And now I've spent like thousands and thousands of dollars too. And I have no idea what my future is going to be again.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
and I ended up, I had this going by that point because I actually started this business, like coaching and helping people through this to kind of like be a passive thing during medical school because I really cared about it. But I was like, I want to be a doctor. But it was working. I had like 100,000 followers on TikTok and it was fun. So I ended up just going with that. And then later in the story, like I ended up getting married and stuff again. I'm married now and I have a daughter. And one night, like a year ago, I was talking to my wife about it, the whole medical school thing, because for about 2 years, I was super bitter about it. Like I didn't know why. They don't tell you why you get rejected. You just do. You just get tons of no's.
Well, and I can imagine. It's like sometimes when people are like, I don't have closure. You're like, no, that was no closure there because they didn't say, dude,
it's exactly
this is
that.
what. Yes, yes.
You have no idea what you did wrong.
Okay,
and,
that would drive me crazy.
And like anytime I go to hospitals or see doctors, I just feel like bugged and be mad.
Yes.
Like, why can't I be here? Like, why am I not allowed? But it wasn't until it was about a year ago, I was having a conversation with my wife, Jocelyn. We were talking about it. And she was like, how do you feel about all that now? And I looked at it and I really liked my life because like we have a daughter and like everything's going well. Work is like extremely rewarding. It's fun. Like we got a book coming out and things. So I looked at it and I was like, what did I really want from being a doctor? I really wanted to help people and I wanted to find people who were like in crisis and afraid and be able to teach them something that would like give them hope and understanding that they could be like, okay, I can handle this now. Okay. That's what I really wanted to do as a doctor. And then I thought about, okay, but what about like all the time I wasted? And I was like, I wasted all that college. I wasted thousands and thousands of dollars. I took 19 full length MCATs to practice, which are 8 hours each. And like, I spent 9 months, 7 hours a day, every day watching YouTube at 3x speed and doing flashcards to do that good on the test. Like it was like intense.
Wow,
I was
this is intense.
Adjunct professor for a college for 2 semesters. So I did all this stuff and I was able to piece together how all of that led me here. Like through the studying, I learned how to learn on my own with the internet through teaching as a professor. Like it was during COVID. So I just taught people online like I do now. And I was able to like piece together how all of that was not a waste. It was not a sunk cost and it all wove together into the tapestry that creates my life now. Yes. And when it had that meaning, I didn't need to know why anymore. Like it just made sense and it was okay.
Oh, that's good.
For people with breakups, that's one thing is like, if you get broken up with and they don't tell you why, which happens a ton, especially if you have like a partner with an avoidant attachment style where they don't totally understand their own emotions anyway. Okay. It just might be random. Like, I don't feel like we're compatible after you were together for 5 years. And you're like, what the heck? That doesn't make sense because
they just say stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So the more you can put together what you learned and what you gained from that. And I would imagine like a scale where like on one side, you've got all of this that doesn't make sense. The more you can pile on of this is what it means for me. And this is what I gained from it. And you can tie those together. Like I have this friend now because of this skill I learned in this relationship, or I trust myself now and I believe in myself because of this that happened in the relationship and I was able to overcome that. The more you can tie it in to have meaning, that's how you can close that loop. So that's one aspect of the narrative. The second one would be my favorite way is diving into attachment styles and basically just like learning like what were you doing? What were they doing? And maybe it was an avoidant attachment style. Maybe it's not all your fault. Maybe there were some things that they never worked through that really affected the breakup. But those two things together, if you can put together a story of why it happened and how it affects you now, usually that's one thing people need. Okay. Second thing people need is I found that your brain tends to just follow the shiniest object. So if the shiniest object is in the past and you don't have anything shiny now, your brain will live in the past.
Oh, that's good, Cole. Oh my goodness. Talk about that. That is good.
So it's fun having you
That's
hype me up about it. So I I like to, when I work with people, I like to break down the parts of their lives that they can control and break it down during the relationship. So before the breakup and then now. So
okay.
the categories we do are family relationships, friend relationships, religion slash spirituality. So what you believe in, hobbies, work, and then health or self care.
Okay.
And then I have them rate those before the breakup and then now from 0 to 10 based on how satisfied they are in those areas. Generally, what I see with people who are having a really hard time moving on is that their life as a whole is way better before. Where like
Oh,
maybe they usually after a breakup, like people will, especially right after, people
okay.
tend to isolate themselves from their friends and family. They tend to stop doing their hobbies because they seem
Oh.
meaningless now. They
They
tend
go watch the show like you did. They just
Yeah.
kind of check
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
exactly. It's like life
Yeah.
is this dull limbo thing now while I wait for my ex to come back. And if that's all you're giving your brain, like this is the present that we're supposed to let go of the past for, that's an ugly present.
Oh,
And
that's
and
so
as
good,
long as
Cole.
it's not as good in the present, then your brain's going to want to be in the past. It's going to feel safer there because there's nothing safe for you now.
Oh my God. I feel like we're just having an aha moment. Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh, keep talking.
So like the tangible thing we can do to build that present is go through and rate them, like really put
Okay.
like 0 to 10. And it's normal for it to be like 2, I feel abandoned by God. So 0 there. My hobbies, I used to go snowboarding with him. And now every time I go, I just think of him. So that's a 0 2. Go through and rate them all. And then once you've got them, pick 2 to 3 like goals, actions. They could be big or small that you could do for each one. Then you should have like 12 to 18 things on a list and then just make a goal to do a thing every day. So it could be
Okay.
as simple as like I call my mom today. It can be as big as I go on this solo trip this
Okay.
week.
Okay.
But like you try to just incrementally do what you can to build the life you have in the present. And usually what I find is when the life in the present exceeds the life in the past, your
Yes.
brain doesn't stay there anymore as much. You're more present here. And also with what I talked about
Oh,
having the future be super dull and blank,
yes.
as
Yes.
you build the present, it usually just slowly reveals itself. Like as you make
Okay.
more friends through this exercise, as you start trying new hobbies, usually like, okay, the hobby has a class a week in the future. That paints some of the blackness about what my future, that creates a little bit of what it can be. When you meet a new friend, okay, we're gonna go to New York together now. That
Yes.
paints a little bit more of it.
In the future, like more.
Yep. Yep. So as you expand
Oh,
the present like
wow.
that, the future starts to appear too. And then once it's colored and you've got something to hope for in the future, then again, the past ceases to have as much meaning as it used to.
That's so clear right there. Because the brain just goes, it's almost what it's like a default, right? It just goes back to, oh my God, that's already so good, Cole. Thank you for that. Wow.
So
Well, then
that's
take me, no, so take me back even then. So now you're young, married,
uh-huh.
now divorced, and
Yeah.
now find yourself at mom's house. Now find yourself
Yeah.
um, going through this spiral because, Cole didn't do this work then. That's why he does it now.
Yeah.
So what starts happening to you? How did things start as time goes by? What did happen? So your brain started shifting.
I did the wrong thing before my brain started
Okay.
shifting. So
Okay.
I
Talk
actually,
about
my thought immediately was I need to pretend this didn't happen.
Okay.
And part of this was like some perfectionism stuff I had to deal with. So with listeners that have like perfectionism, this can be what happens is like I need to just not be seen as someone who fails like this. So mine was like I need to get a girlfriend as soon as possible so I can be
Okay.
back on the track I'm supposed to be on. That's what I
And that's
felt.
why people rebound real quick usually
Yep.
because they're trying to just okay.
Yep.
Okay,
So
let's say
that's what I
okay,
did.
let's
Yeah,
talk about that.
usually a couple reasons. Like people will rebound for that. Like I need to be back on track, but also it's a great way to hide from the grief and the pain because it actually works short term.
It
Like,
does? Okay.
yeah, you
Okay.
feel way better because
Short
you
term. Did you hear him? Short term.
yeah. Yeah, you feel way better because, and that's what this story ends up being is
Okay.
you feel way better because it reintroduces all those chemicals back into your mind. You suddenly have dopamine again, you have oxytocin going again, vasopressin, those are all kind of connection hormones. And then you feel great until after the honeymoon ends. Usually the grief comes back. So what I did was literally 3 days after I got to my mom's house, I was already on dating apps. So
Cole's like, I'm not down.
it was very sad. It was like, it was more
Is
of a
that more
grounding.
typical guys, Cole? Is that kind of like, or is it doesn't matter?
Usually it's the person who gets broken up. Usually the person who leaves the relationship gets on dating apps faster from what I've seen.
Okay.
But yeah, like stereotypically, like guys will distract first and girls will feel it all first. So girls usually get past things faster. But for all the like women listening, about 50% of my followers, which I've got like about like 750,000. So like 50% of those are men. So men do care about this stuff. Like we do go through all the pain and stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't. I just went right on dating apps, and it was fully to numb myself. It was fully because when I did it, I didn't feel as sad. And after like day one, I had like 10 matches, and I picked one and then just said like, this is the girl I'm going to marry. And
no way.
Yeah.
No way, Cole. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay.
It was definitely to a delusional level. Like I would have conversations with my family. Like we had this trip planned for like 8 months. And I was like, let's buy a ticket for her. Like she's coming. And my family was always like, okay, this is kind of scary. Like Cole's doing this, but like it's making it feel okay. But I kind of just like stalked her on this photo sharing app called Visco for like 3 weeks. And then I finally DM'd her and I was like, hey, you want to go on a date? She said yes. And then I actually succeeded. She actually became my girlfriend.
She did. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like, but like, that's how fast it was. Like I probably stalked her for like 3 weeks, and then then we went on a date, and then she was my girlfriend like 2 weeks later. So like I had a girlfriend again about a month after the divorce.
Okay.
Before the divorce even was finalized, like a month after the separation. Okay. Maybe 2, somewhere around there. And yeah, and at first it felt amazing. Like I felt totally better. I felt like I was just going to marry her now. I was going to go to medical school. Everything was going to be back on track. I hadn't been rejected the second time yet at this point. That was after what happens next. So then we start talking about the future.
This time you're feeling pretty good. You're like, okay, I love my wife, but you know what? She don't want to be with me anymore. Yeah. And I'm moving on, and life's going to go on, and we're good to go. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we started dating in May. My wife came home and said that we were getting divorced in February. And then I remember we started dating in May. So then after that, we date for a while, but like around November-ish, we start talking about, okay, like, would we ever get married? What's the future like there? Yeah. And as soon as that came up, immediately my whole nervous system just got like shut down and extremely anxious. So like, as soon as we mentioned marriage, I just started like being hyper vigilant for everything that could go wrong. So I started noticing everything I didn't like about her. I started like seeing other couples and being like, oh my gosh, they look so much happier than we are. I think I never processed the pain. So I was so afraid of getting married and divorced again that I immediately shut off to anything.
So this happens. So this happens when we are not processing, right?
Yeah.
After a breakup, we don't. Okay, this is making.
This is why rebounds don't actually work. Like, they're like happy pause buttons.
Okay.
But only temporarily until something happens that triggers you, which is inevitable. So
that doesn't go away. That's what we talk about. That stuff stays in us.
No, I do not think that people can skip grief. You can't do it. I think it's a human thing to have to go through it, which is
I love it.
For a lot of people who get like broken up with out of nowhere, like the other person grieves too. They're not immune to it. If they're a human, then they grieve too. Like if you're looking on the outside to me, like if my ex-wife saw all that and she's like, okay, he never loved me. He never cared about me. And that's not true whatsoever. I did all that because I did, and didn't know how to handle it, which is the story for a lot of people. So then I get so distant that she breaks up with me too in February or March 2022. That's what brings us to. So now I'm like 24, and that's when I decide I need to learn some things. I don't want to keep doing this, because that actually hurt worse when she broke up with me, because all the unprocessed pain from my divorce came back. I actually had a dream about my ex-wife the day that other girl broke up with me, because like, I think it was just suppressed, and then it just exploded. And then I was also like, I really felt like I loved her too. So it was all of that all at once. And my first inclination was same thing as before. Instead of distract, this time was I need to get her back. So first thing I did was I dove super, super deep into all of the how to get your ex back stuff on YouTube.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It was
Yes,
with
yes.
it was with the intensity of studying the MCAT. Like I literally probably
Oh, my
watched
goodness.
5 to 7 hours a day of that, always. And
You're like, I'm getting her back.
well, it comforted me. Like
Yeah.
just hearing someone say that it was possible, and I'm like, go no contact, and she'll come back. It gave me some hope. But
Okay.
and it actually like it was the thing that like got me out of bed at the beginning,
Okay.
which I do think is like a positive use for that. Like I do think like that can help some people. It can also be very
Okay.
dangerous, but for me, it helped at that beginning. So I did that for a little bit until one day I watched a video. It was one of those, and it just said, "Do what you can to become her best option, and then she'll want to come back." And I was like, "Okay, that's my new life
Okay.
mission. I'll become her best option." So that kind of accidentally got me to stumble on all the things that helped me move on and feel good. So I started
Oh,
going to the
okay.
gym like 6 days a week. During that whole second relationship, I still lived with my parents because I was just
Okay.
like applying to medical school, and she
Yeah.
became my whole life. So I didn't make any friends. So when she left, I was back to having nothing going on. So I moved like an hour away and started saying yes to every opportunity. I went to like 3 or 4 parties a week and just tried to put myself out there and meet anyone who would talk to me. That led to going on about like 11 vacations with groups of people in the next like
No
6 months.
way. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
it was
Okay. Okay.
coolest. Like the biggest one was I met this girl and she was like, "Hey, we're going to Iceland in 2 weeks. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yep, I'm going."
I'm
So
going. I'm in.
like
Yeah.
I went to Iceland. We tried to relive the movie Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So like
Yeah.
we saw the Northern Lights. We longboarded down this big like volcano road that he longboards down in the
No
movie.
way.
Like yeah, it was just awesome. And by about like 5 months into doing all that, I was also in therapy and I was reading every book I could find on attachment styles and
Okay.
communication to just like I didn't want to. I felt like an idiot. Like I felt like I blew up 2 relationships and I didn't want
Okay.
to keep doing that. So I was like, I need to learn. So then about 5 months in, I saw that she had another boyfriend. I'd stopped
Okay.
stalking her social media about 3 months before that, but I just like checked one day and I saw
Yeah.
she had another boyfriend and like I like sat with it for a second and then I was like, I'm actually not that sad. I thought I'd be really, really sad when
Really?
this happened, but I'm not. And it was because I did that. Like I made a whole narrative and it was kind of accidental, but I made a narrative as I learned all those things from the books and I made my life better. I went from just having a girlfriend living at my parents and having nothing really else to I started making videos too around that time that I felt I was just sharing really what I was learning in all my
Yeah.
books
As
and
you're going through it.
yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had like, I don't know, like 70,000 followers and like I was talking to people about this and I really felt fulfilled doing that. I had all these friends and I was traveling and I just really liked my life. So when that happened, yeah, it surprised me, but I was okay. It was a
You
little
were
sad.
actually
I was
okay.
like, okay, I got to figure out what else I'm doing all this for now, but like I'm okay.
Wow. Because you were actually able. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is so good. Okay. Okay. I have again, based on what you were just talking about, a question just actually came up. So listen to this question, right?
Okay.
So our listeners right now, they're listening to this. And when someone is then, as you were kind of explaining this, so let's say taking you back a little bit. So when someone is freshly heartbroken, what's really happening beneath the surface that most people don't understand?
So usually the person who's freshly heartbroken, like they get left, they're still in love with the person who left them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and I do think that there needs to be way more grace here because usually what happens is everyone's just like accept that it's over. Like go date
Okay.
someone else. Like
Okay.
stop feeling this way. There's a million fish in the sea. You need to get out there. You need to meet other guys. You need to do all this stuff. But like if you actually stop and think about the context of what's actually happening there,
Yeah.
like if they're just broken up with a month ago, all of that stuff would have been cheating or it would have been
Mm,
like disloyal. Like
that's true.
their brain isn't just going to snap into being interested in other people or seeing a future without that person because they spent months or years practicing being loyal and loving that person.
And
So if
being with
they
that
spend months or
person.
years doing that, like if they still feel like, oh my gosh, I want to be with that person still, like that's super normal.
Okay.
That's like what a human is gonna feel when it gets ripped away from them. So that's I think the biggest thing that's not understood is one, the intensity of how like horrible it feels, I think is underestimated by people. And then
Okay.
two, like if they want the person, like listen to them, be there with them. Because that's a human thing. That's what we reward at every other time. And now it's suddenly a punishment just because someone else made a decision.
I think that's important that you're saying that because again, I think society and I think our culture, it's fast and it really doesn't allow um, that space to feel through that you actually love that person.
Yeah.
And there is that grief process. And I think, just like you said, if we ignore that or we don't have, like listen to these podcasts, these tools, there's ways to get through this. It can just pile on,
Yeah.
or it could just, keep, or you don't give yourself that grace to feel through that. I think that's really important that you said that. When someone is going through a breakup, that's something that they're not understanding. The way that they're actually feeling that way, which is very normal, which is understandable, is that they actually love the person.
Mhm.
And it's an energetic exchange when you're with someone, and then that energy is just gone now.
Yeah. It's just a weird whiplash that
Yes.
I think it's hard for us to understand because it goes from being exactly what you're supposed to do to exactly what you're not supposed to do instantly.
Right.
And it's the
Well,
same act.
it is. Okay, well, let me ask you this then. So many people feel powerless then, after a breakup, that feeling of powerless. Where do you usually help them reclaim their sense of self first?
Small, as small as possible at first.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I like to call it small wins. I have people track this, and there's a couple ways. One is that we love the things we take care of.
Okay.
So that's like a basic law of self-esteem or anything. Like I have a truck, and when I wash it and keep it clean, I love it. But when
Okay.
it gets all dirty and there's like trash in there and it's all I would want a different truck. Like I don't like it
Okay.
anymore. And after a breakup, like generally we stop caring for ourselves. We will
Mm.
not brush our teeth anymore, don't do your makeup anymore, don't leave your room, just sit on your phone, focus on other things. You're not going to like yourself. And that's just the law with everything. Like the more you care for yourself, the more you're going to like yourself. So I have people start as small as possible. One, for that to increase self-esteem, because your self-esteem just took a major blow. So you've got to rebuild it. And then
Okay.
two is you kind of have to prove to yourself that you have control again through winning little things. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
start out as small as possible, meaning like getting up and brushing your teeth and getting dressed that day.
That's good. You're winning right there.
That
Okay.
shows that you win and also proves I have some control. I can do this thing. After
Okay.
that, it is eating. Now, eating
Oh,
is
wow.
really, really, really hard after a breakup. Where, like, for me, I lost like 20 pounds and just only ate like a bite of an apple a day for like 2 weeks.
Dude,
And
what is happening there? That's interesting that you said that because I'm not going into the story big time, but
yeah,
I left my ex-husband. I was with him for 23 years. And he was always a person that, um, took care of himself, and he's an athlete. So he,
yeah,
always took care of himself. And then after that breakup, the guy, I mean, I, I remember one time I saw him and he literally lost like 30 pounds. He said he could
yeah,
not eat.
yeah.
What's happening there?
Your body doesn't think that's important at that moment. So, like,
Oh,
the stress hormone is called cortisol, and
yes.
the levels are extremely high at heartbreak because what's
Okay.
happening. I'll go one tiny tangent to explain this one. So
Okay.
my
Okay.
favorite explanation here is evolutionary biology, where
Okay.
like if you think that we evolved from these people that were hunters and gatherers, that like they lived on the plains in tents and they'd be in groups. If you were to lose your group or get kicked out of your tribe, you would die. You get eaten by
Oh,
something or starve.
you're
So
done.
yeah, so the people who were able to like cling on to their tribes, make good relationships, and also chase them down if they ever got lost, those are the ones who survived and reproduced. And that's what led to us. So when someone leaves you, like when your tribe is gone, your brain and your nervous system views it as you're going to die. So if you're
Oh my
going to die, you don't need to eat. You don't need to like do your hobbies and stuff like that. You need to
Like your body
chase,
doesn't there's no hunger, you're just like
you
it
need to
just kind of
chase
shuts
them.
down? Okay.
Yeah, you need to chase them down and get them. So that's
Okay.
why we're actually extremely motivated after breakups. It seems like we're not motivated, but we're just motivated for one thing, getting the person. Everything else doesn't matter. We're singularly focused because it's a life or death situation.
Okay.
So
Makes
that's why.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
just like, yeah, if you're getting chased by a bear, you're not going to stop and eat at McDonald's. Like you're not going to want to. So,
Your body's gonna shut down. Okay, so that's what ended up happening with you. You,
yep.
like,
So
literally
how to
okay.
start winning there is my therapist told me this, and it's what started helping me is try to drink your calories. So if you can like get protein shakes, one per meal or a smoothie or something, usually that's easier to keep down, but same thing. Then you've got that win. Next, I tell people to move on to like make your bed every day. And then
Okay.
once you can do that, clean your room. Those ones sound dumb, but I've had communities that I've started online that just I'm like, okay, for 30 days, we're all going to make our beds. And the amount of people that changed their lives and got them to do other things is crazy. But
Okay.
each of these things, they build on top of each other. Once you can clean your room, then clean your house, then like buy some new decorations, buy a new outfit, then start doing the activities on that list we talked about earlier with the different categories of your life. But you need to earn back that control. And
Okay. That's
the more evidence you show yourself that you have control again, the more you'll believe it. But you can't just
good.
believe it. You have to earn it. You have to give yourself evidence.
You actually have to do the things.
Yeah.
It's yeah, do the things, and it's like it's a little building blocks,
Yeah.
they keep stacking up, little micro steps.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, well then now something else came up. From your experience then, both personally and professionally, what does true healing actually look like?
True healing from heartbreak.
Yes.
Well, usually like the stages I've seen people go through is at the very beginning, it's a lot of anxiety. Like I have
Okay.
no control, all this kind of stuff. Once they get some of the anxiety figured out, like it's like they feel more stable, then a lot of times anger shows up. And
Oh,
my idea is that the anger is kind of always there, but it's just masked by the anxiety because you're like,
by
I'll do
the anxiety.
anything to get this person back. But yeah,
Okay.
usually after that, people start to be like, how could that person do that? Wait a minute.
Okay.
Maybe this isn't fair. Maybe this isn't all my fault. And then after that, it either goes into like victimhood and bitterness. That some people can get
Oh,
clogged up and go there.
okay.
Other people, if they dive into what they can control, and also there's a lot of value in forgiving the other person to let go and not become bitter there. Um, if they do that, then usually they end up feeling like, I wish the other person the best, but I'm going to be okay. And then I think there's also a stage past that where you just don't think of them anymore, where it's more neutral. And I
Okay.
used to think like, I probably got married again at that second to last stage where I'm like loving the other people from afar. I hope that they do great in life, but now I don't really think about them. Like now it's just this kind of
Mm.
like chapters in a book that you've read, but you don't go back to. And I think that's
You don't
okay.
go back to.
Yeah.
Well, take me back then. So after you went through this experience and you found yourself, you know, wanting to get your ex, the second one back, and
Yeah.
then you're like, "Well, I'm going to go through all this process." And then as the time went by, you found yourself like, "Oh, I'm actually okay."
Uh-huh.
How did things shift for you? And were things different when you met your wife now?
So after that, I was dating a little bit before that and during that time. And
Okay.
at the beginning, it was kind of hard because I would go on dates, but I felt super numb, which is also a really
Okay.
common thing. Like after heartbreak, like I didn't like anybody. Like
Okay.
I liked them, like I'd have fun on the dates. But then when I would go home, I like wouldn't feel that excited about anybody. And for a little bit I thought I was just broken. I was like, okay, I'm over this, but why don't I work anymore? Like what's going on?
Why don't I like the girls anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
What's
like,
going on? She was
am I just like
pretty.
this now? Yeah, and I have learned more about that there's a part of your brain that processes emotion called the amygdala, and after really painful experiences, it can become suppressed. And then
Oh,
like it kind of needs to be primed through emotional experiences. They can be nostalgic or or just like having fun new experiences, it can kind of come back online and reactivate. But for me, I felt really numb until the Iceland trip was the big thing that for me, that it just felt so much like a movie. Like there were times that we were running around at night trying to catch these wild sheep, and we like got one by the leg, and then I fell into like this frozen river, and it was like, oh my gosh, like I can't see because it was so dark. I got out of the river, I was okay. But like so many things like that happened that I think it brought my amygdala back online. So by that time, I was in like September. My wife Jocelyn, she had actually been watching my TikTok videos because she got divorced too, and she messaged me on Instagram. So that's how I met her. I was actually I was trying to date like as much as I could. I was kind of systematic about it. Like I'd ask for at least a number or two at every party I went to, and I was also swiping on dating apps. I was doing everything I could do. But she ended up reaching out to me, and then we met. She came to my church and we talked and stuff. And then we ended up just being kind of inseparable after that. And part of it was bonding over like heartbreak and things like that, which can be scary for some people because I kind of view it like that's one way you can bond even when you're not compatible with someone. But also if you are compatible, it's just an extra layer that can help. But we met at that point, and it was a better foundation for a relationship because instead of making her the center of my world, I had that foundation of a life for the first time. The other times I did not. The other time I was like, I need a woman to complete me and give me purpose, so I've got stuff to do. But at that point, I really liked every other aspect of my life, so she enhanced everything instead of defining it.
That's such a huge difference right there, what you just said.
Yeah.
Because by the time, when you met the other one, your first wife, it didn't work out. And then you said the heartbreak with the second one was even harder because you're like, oh my gosh. And after that one, when you finally got yourself to a place, like you said, you started doing things differently, healing differently, putting yourself out there differently, getting a life for yourself. Like, I really like my life myself.
Yeah.
It opened up something different when you met your wife, your current wife now.
Yep.
You were different. You were different because that's so good. Okay, let me ask you this. If someone's in the middle of a heartbreak right now and and feels stuck, not fair, right? I need glasses sometimes, it's okay. And feels stuck, what's one small but meaningful first step you usually guide them to take? So if they're in the middle of the heartbreak right now and it feels like they're stuck, what is, like the listeners, what is something that they can do right now?
They need to make sure they're detoxing completely from the person.
Okay, talk about that.
So these things were like forced on me. Like with my ex-wife, how I said that she had like, it was completely cut off. It sucked at the time, but that was such a blessing for me.
Okay.
The main thing that I see with people who are really, really struggling is either they're still in context, like they're still texting, trying to be this like pseudo friendship thing, or they're checking up on them, like seeing what they're listening to on Spotify, watching what they're watching on Netflix, looking at their Venmo transactions, like looking how many followers they have, if they follow new people, making up hypothetical stories about what's going on based on those numbers going up or down. And as long as you're doing that, back to the drugs example from the beginning, it's like trying to go through withdrawal phase, but taking the drug every day. You're not going to. You're going to remain stuck.
So this is a stage. This is really important what you're saying right now.
It's the prerequisite to everything. Nothing else is possible until you do this.
Okay. So if someone's listening and they are in the middle of that breakup and they're noticing that they are kind of like you said, obsessing, looking, trying to stay connected in some way, that's not going to stop until they have a full cutoff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And it is
you
hard.
highly recommend, I know it's hard, but so you highly recommend, I've heard that before. I think I'm really happy I have you, the expert, on today because I wasn't 100% sure, but for some reason, it just makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. And it's not always possible. Like if you work with them or you have kids together, then you try to get as close as you can. Like you try to set boundaries on, okay, we're just going to talk when it has to do with work, or we're just going to communicate when it has to do with the kids. And then you try to be no contact in the other areas. But Yes, it
Okay.
is the thing that keeps people stuck more than anything else is
Okay.
trying to be friends directly after when you still have feelings or continuing to talk or check in on them. And like if
Yeah.
it's really, really hard, like it's like I was checking her credit card stuff because we had a shared credit card app like 80
Yeah.
times a day, not even exaggerating. And that's a
Yeah.
normal thing. So if you're like that, I recommend doing a time window where like I'm allowed to be super crazy from 2 to 3. But at 3:01,
That's good. Okay, get it out. Okay.
yeah, and I've got to wait. It changes the area of your brain that's involved in it. That habits and
Okay.
addictions are a part called the limbic system, which is an older part. It's more automatic, like breathing. And the prefrontal cortex is choices. So when you change it from a choice, when you change it from a habit that you're just randomly checking to a choice, like I check in this hour, you change it to a different area of the brain that actually has the ability to choose not to do it eventually.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's
Okay,
what I
that's
recommend.
good.
It's really hard, but yes, you gotta do it. That's step one.
You gotta do it. Okay. Well, I know that you wrote a book called X and Knows, the breakup advice you don't want to hear.
Yep.
What made you feel called to write this? And what do you hope people feel or understand after reading it? Can we see the book real quick?
Yeah. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
It's
What do you
laying right-
want them? What do you want them? That's fantastic. Want me to ask you the question again?
I got it.
Okay.
So mainly I just wanted it to be the book I wish I had.
Oh,
So
that's so
it's
good.
I had lots of different books that I feel like I was able to piece things together through, but I had to read tons of them. And I wanted it to be giving people the things they need to know about attachment theory and about like practical advice, like do this thing and it's going to make it a little bit easier, something that can like hold their hand through all of those parts of heartbreak. So it includes how to get back together in a healthy way if that works. It includes how to date again, how to know if you're ready to date again, how to eat again, some of the things we've talked about today. But that's the main idea. Is I just wanted to build an actionable tool so people don't have to feel like they're drowning alone.
Oh, that's so good because it really is like you said. We go and we search and we search and we search, and we're not necessarily searching. If this is our first breakup or something, like we don't really know truly what to search. So you have a manual,
Yeah,
a
that's the point
healthy
of it.
manual, right? That helps people and not have to go crazy and do a lot of searching because it really gives them actionable things, healing things that they can actually apply. Just like today, this podcast. Oh my gosh, I how does it go so fast? And he has this hard stop, and I'm going to go crazy right now. Okay, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, okay. But the way that you're talking today is so powerful because it's really giving people a framework. But there's so many different layers here. And what I love about this is that your book awesome. Your book gives them that opportunity to go deeper and to really learn what they can do so they can move forward and they can heal and they can rise again. Oh, yes. Okay. When is this book out? Because I know it's coming out soon.
Yeah, it comes out February 10th. So it's
Okay.
pre-order. You can pre-order it today, which we can put the link in. And I'm also
Okay.
offering that anyone who pre-orders it, I usually have a course that helps through all this stuff for $200, but I'm giving it away for free to anyone who pre-orders too. Cause I know it's like this kind of an in the moment thing. Like I don't want to wait a couple weeks for this. So I made the course. You can get it immediately, but the books all ship out on February 10th.
Okay. So if they get the book now, they can get they can
Course
get
for free.
the
Yeah.
course for that's fantastic. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna ask you another question, but I have to ask you another question. So how many questions I'm gonna ask you? I gotta get you off, but hold on, hold on, hold on. How do they get into your world? I know that we can get into your world with the book, but where's
Yeah.
the best place to find you? Can they work with you also? Can you
Yeah.
explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I make videos every day on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Okay.
And it's just Coach Cole Zesiger on Instagram and then Cole Zesiger on TikTok or YouTube. And then CoachColeZesiger.com. I work with people for about 3 months. So a
Okay.
lot of this, like, there's unique stuff. So if you're like, I really believe this relationship can be saved, but I also want to move on and make sure I don't waste my time and don't get hurt worse. I work with people to get back together in a healthy way or to move on and build their lives one-on-one with about 5 people a month.
Okay. Okay. So there's ways that they can work with you. They can get into your world. Your content is amazing. So, and you're all over. So, you know what I mean? And and how do they reach you? Do you have a website or is it more go
Yeah.
through?
Yeah,
Okay.
CoachColeZesiger.com. You can see everything on there.
You could see everything on there. Okay, let me ask you one more question before I have to get you off of this thing. For the women listening who's wondering, will I ever feel like myself again? What do you want her to know right now?
I would say you're not going to be the exact same person you were in the relationship. Like, I don't think that. I think that's part of the thing we grieve when someone leaves. But I believe now from my experience, and also I've coached about 2,000 people at this point, one-on-one, and I've seen this happen a lot of times.
Tell us what happens.
You can have something better than you think you can have. So with me, like I really thought that like my best life I would ever have was what I planned. Like I was going to go be a doctor. I was going to have my wife, have my dog, have kids. And that got ripped away, it felt like. And I felt like that version of me got ripped away too. And that was so hard, but I was completely wrong on what the best case scenario could be. Like I wouldn't trade the life I have now with Jocelyn and my daughter and get to do this and like, yeah, travel around and talk to people about something I really care about. I would never trade that. So I like to believe that maybe you won't, but you might discover something better because of that.
Oh, I just want to give you a big hug right now. Oh, that's amazing. You guys, and when I had a pre-call with him, oh my goodness. How old is your baby girl?
She's a year and a half.
He's such a dad. He was like just glowing. I was like, tell me more about that baby. It seems like, honestly, I just feel your heart in this interview. I can see how many people you're helping because, again, we get stuck. And heartbreak, like, and this is why you're doing what you're doing. Heartbreak it's a big deal, but it doesn't have to determine you for the rest of your life. You can fall in love again. It can even be better. Look at you now, and now you're helping people. And that to me is why I love these conversations. And this is why I bring on guests like you, Cole.
That's fun. You're like a pretty dang fun person. Your energy is awesome.
Oh, thank you, Cole. No, this is amazing. I can't believe it went so fast. Is there anything else that you just want to say to the listeners before we have to get off the show?
I would just say that like be sure to try to spend time around people. Like if you feel misunderstood, that's normal. People are trying their best. Like they'll say really cliche phrases that mean nothing, but the way you heal is being around people. So part of that is like, try to see them as they're doing their best and try to get as much connection as you can back into your life.
Oh, it's fabulous. So we can move on, we can fall in love again, and it can even be better.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you again, my friend. You are amazing. I feel so honored to have you on the show today. Thank you so much. You guys get into his world, get his book. Honestly, he's the real deal. He's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to next time, cheers to great love. If you're loving this podcast and these incredible conversations, please hit the subscribe button and leave a 5-star review. Don't miss an episode because each week I'll be bringing on guests and experts who will share their knowledge about love, dating, and relationships so you can apply it into your own life. I'll see you next week. And until then, cheers to great love.